Let me show you how to solve this math question on the board. We are given square root of x plus square root of 5 equal to square root of 80. And we are expected to find the value of this x. If you want to solve this question correctly, the first thing you need to do is to move this square root of 5 to this side of the equation. That will meet with this square root of 80 in order for us to have only square root of x on one side of the equation. So here's the solution. We have our square root of x then equal to, remember we are going to move this one to this side of the equation. So we have square root of 80. When this positive square root of 5 crosses to the side of the equation, it changes to negative square root of 5. Now, if you look at the left-hand side of the right-hand side, rather, on this right-hand side of the equation, we cannot directly subtract these two numbers. Without subtraction here, we cannot directly subtract these two numbers here. Why? Because they do not contain the same numbers inside the square root sign. In a more mathematical term, we say they do not contain the same irrational parts, or the irrational parts are not the same. So now what we are going to do is we are going to adjust this number such that they will contain the same irrational parts. Now the question is, how do we do that? This 80 has to be broken down into two numbers such that one of them will be a perfect square and the other one will be a non-perfect square. Understand? And the two numbers that can work here is 16 and 5. Why? Because 16 times 5 will give us this 80. 16 is a perfect square, 5 is a non-perfect square. So we are going to replace this 80 with 16 times 5. So square root of x equal to, in place of this, write square root of 16 times 5, then minus square root of 5. Next, we are going to apply something called multiplication rule of third here. So we have square root of x equal to, according to multiplication rule of third, anytime you have two numbers being multiplied inside a square root sign, just like what we have here, that we can simply separate the numbers. So that means this square root of 16 times 5 can also be written like square root of 16 times square root of 5 and minus square root of this 5. You have square root of x equal to, square root of 16 is 4. Why? Because 4 times 4 will give us 16. Then times root 5 minus root 5. You have square root of x equal to 4 times root 5 will give us 4 root 5. Then minus square root of 5. Next is to subtract. Now, if you look at this, you can see that they have the same numbers inside the square root sign. That means their irrational parts are the same, so we can subtract. Now, if you want to subtract, you make use of the number in front. Here we have 4. But if you look at this one, there is no visible number here. Anytime you don't see a visible number in front of a root, it means the number is 1. The coefficient is 1. So we are going to say 4 minus that invisible one. You understand? So on the left, you have square root of x equal to 4 minus that invisible will give us 3. Of 3. Then because root 5 is common, we pick one of them. Now, the next thing to do is to get rid of this square root sign here so that we can get only our x. The question is, how do we get rid of the square root sign? Anytime you want to remove square root sign, this square root sign, you take the square of both sides of the equation. So we are going to take the square of both sides of the equation. We're going to square this and also square this. This power 2 here and this square root sign will cancel. And we have x equal to. Now for this one, let me further break this one down so that everybody will understand. This 3 root 5 means 3 times root 5. Then we put the power 2. Because we have multiplication here, we are going to apply something called product power law of indices. According to product power law of indices, anytime you have numbers being multiplied like this inside a bracket, and then they are raised to a common power, that power will affect each of them. So we have x equal to, that means this power will affect these three, and it becomes 3 raised to the power of 2, then times this power will also affect this one, and we have square root of 5, then raised to the power of 2. You have x equal to 3 raised to the power of 2 means 3 times 3, which is 9, times, for this one, power 2 and square root 7 will cancel, and we have 5 here. We have x equal to 9 times 5 will give us 45. This is the answer to this question. I really appreciate your comments on this video. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.